Ready up for Cyber Lunch.
Before it closes and the clock is ticking, the phone is ringing, the late fees are piling up so high.
The Micro Machines guy?
And you forgot to rewind, too.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot to take the tape out and put it in the... Star Wars?
Oh,
the
Jesus,
Phantom
turn it
Menace.
off.
Oh, man.
Good Lord.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to the lunch table.
Welcome back.
Belly up. This is Cyber Lunch, a weekly podcast that deals with the nostalgia.
Gotcha.
Nostalgia.
Reach right up and grab you on that one.
Gotta reach
out and grab you.
We're a weekly podcast that deals with nostalgia reflected and integrated into our everyday lives through growing up in the digital revolution. Plus, we have a plethora of tangents and passionate discussions with special guests over our favorite music, movies, video games, as well as television shows of the past and today. Rusty. Hashtag Rusty.
Hashtag Rusty.com. That was a trailer of the original Hollywood, well, not the OG, original Hollywood Video trailer.
Hollywood Video.
I remember
Yes.
that. I remember it very well.
We're going to take a walk down memory lanes today, I think, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the times have turned. The hourglass has been tilted. We'll be talking about the death of the video store.
Is it dead?
Or
has it just evolved?
It has evolved.
Evolution.
It's just evolved.
Pretty much into a Redbox. We're going to get into everything, today. So, talking about that. Justin, you want to lead off with some of your favorite
Let's just
video,
start, man. I mean, geez,
video
movie
store
stores,
moments?
when those started dying, like you saw it coming, like when they started selling like pre-watched movies, like you could get like 5 of them for $10 and you're like, okay, these guys are trying to make money. Or they'd like press you to buy like an $8 box of candy. You're like, okay, something's going on here. And then they started closing. And even though I loved movie stores, but when they started closing and you can go and get like clearance out movies, because they're just liquidating everything. Dude, I got this stack of like 500 movies here, and I think I got half of them thanks to the death of the movie store. And I loved going to them then, but now I think back, it's like, man, why did I contribute to that?
I worked at one. It was fun. You know what I learned when I worked at one? Is how much those stores have to pay for each copy.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah, you buy them
ridiculous.
catalog price,
like a
MSRP.
couple $100
yeah.
a piece.
Well, because you got to pay for the distribution rights.
So what video store did you go to?
Well, I barely ever went to Blockbuster. Hollywood Video every once in a while.
Hollywood Video was the big one for me. Blockbuster's like, you kind of didn't want to, they were like the big corporate one.
Well, they were expensive.
And they're expensive.
And they were jerks. Like they would, if you didn't return a movie or something, they were always trying to screw you on something. I remember that.
They're like the Comcast of video stores.
I worked at Princeton TV and Audio because I lived up north at the time, so there wasn't very many. It was a little family store.
You want the mom and pop one, the ones that shared with like a tanning salon.
That's
maybe?
what it was. Yeah,
Yep.
We talked about that before. Yeah, I worked there. It's when I got my first nice TV and my first surround sound system from that guy too, because I worked there. Then he fired me because I got my tongue pierced. This was when I was like 20.
Did they have a curtain room?
With
the one I went to
for, like,
did.
Adults.
I don't actually know because I would have rented a bunch of them and I never did. So no, I went to Schindler's for that, I think. But yeah, no, it was just a little family movie store, but we had a lot of stuff. I remember that.
And you could get movies anywhere, like grocery stores or rent movies and stuff. Like I remember I worked at one movie store up in Moorhead when I went to college up there, attached to the Cashwise grocery store. It's the Cashwise Video.
It was Coburn's for us, and
now it's Coburn's, I believe.
I had Main Street off of Humboldt by Brooklyn Center High School.
Yep.
If you remember that one. Now it's like a tanning salon, like straight up. Or no, like a nail salon.
I was going to say, I think you mean nail salon.
Yeah. Right next to Scoreboard Pizza over there.
Is that still there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I kind of remember the death of those places being really quick. Like people were talking about it
swift.
And it just
was.
happened. Like Blockbuster was
You'd have
gone
a couple
all of a
stragglers
sudden.
where they'd you're like, how is this still surviving here and stuff? But yeah, it went.
I liked
Honestly,
I liked going to those stores, man.
I did
and
too.
browsing. It was great. There's movies that I have never even seen, but I can see the cover of the movie because I remember
Absolutely.
looking at the horror section.
I was just gonna
especially.
say horror movies a lot.
And sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like I'd walk through there and just see. I've never seen this before. Like I
Browsing
used
a
to
movie
watch.
stores, I could spend an hour and a half in a movie store just and walk out with nothing.
No, if we're talking about like my early days in movie stores, that was my thing. Like whenever like I got good grades or did something like that, I'm like, can we please go to the movie store? Mm-hmm. And I'd get like 1 game and 2 videos, and then that game would be like my whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing about having
you
it,
get them for like 1 or 2 or 3 days, and you'd have to grind.
my favorite thing is having it on the cart, and you have everybody else's save. It's like when Ocarina of Time came out, I was like, all right. So then I was
Somebody
like,
beat it. And
yeah, somebody's like near beating it. Like I remember warping in, and they had like 2 spirit or stones left, medallions left. I think they were on the Shadow Temple or something like that near the end of the game, and I'm just like, holy shit, look at all these items. And
basically left you with like a full free roam game.
yeah, pretty much. It's like what the industry would call like a vertical slice, like getting in when it's actually later on in the game. You see what it's capable of, the mechanics are, and I don't know. I did that a lot. I remember even renting the StarCraft 64 cart, and I didn't think anything of it. I was walking through like, what? Because I didn't have a PC. I mean, I did, but it was like an old compact Presario from like that was way later. I think that came out more like in 1998 or something like that.
I think I rented and played through Alien 3 for the first time. From
Oh,
a
yeah, I
video
remember
rental
that
place.
there.
I used to rent Super Nintendo games all the time because that was like you said, it was I did chores and I had my allowance, and my dad would drive me over there to be able to rent them.
It was always a reward to
Yep.
go to the movie store. It was for something good that you did.
Hey, like if I mow the lawn, like rake the leaves and stuff.
Dad,
like,
I got like no C's. Can we go rent a movie?
yeah.
What I was gonna say is, you guys. I mean, this was like for me. You probably did it all the time because you were a single child.
Ooh, shots
But-
fired.
Yeah.
But I know me and Jake probably did. But when you got to, God forbid, you didn't own the system, but you got to rent the system.
Yeah,
the
we
big-
did
a
talk about
suitcase.
that.
the big nuclear football
Yeah, I was just
plastic
gonna say the football,
suitcase
yeah.
lined with like Kevlar and foam.
Yeah, you basically had to sign your life away when you rented
I
it
think
too.
you had to put down like $100 deposit or
Yeah,
something for
it
it. I
was.
remember my dad being like, "Jesus Christ!"
Yeah, because I rented a Dreamcast a couple times when it first came out and playing Panzer Dragoon and
I can't believe you never played Power Stone if you haven't.
never played
I
Power
thought that was a
Stone.
Do you
launch
remember
title.
when it was probably obviously before you worked there, but when the Hollywood Up by Festival had the big display of the Dreamcast with the 2 controllers,
No,
you could just go in and play it. I think that was even before they had Game Crazy there.
really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking.
Pre-Game Crazy days.
Yeah, this is old.
Game
school.
Crazy was like the GameStop. It was like Hollywood Video's version of GameStop.
They did good. They had good people at that location, and I bought a lot of games. And
I remember there always used to be 4 Xbox set up with little like I don't know like 4x3 monitors or something like that.
yep, people. There's a dude who'd always bring in. Jake, probably you'll help me. What was the big mech game with the huge controller?
Mech Warrior. And they had
Well,
that.
the one that cost
No,
$250 for PS2.
Steel Battalion?
Steel Battalion.
That's what I'm sorry.
There
you're
was
right.
a dude in the area who owned it, and he'd just like drop it off and let people play with it. And I remember seeing that and being like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, I remember.
It's like
seeing that for-
$250.
yeah. I remember seeing that for the first time. Like, that is cool. If you had a
Yeah.
big screen TV or something, man, or multiple monitors. That'd be
Yeah,
sick.
that'd be sweet. But yeah, Game Crazy was awesome, man. They just had a really good community up there.
Technically, we still have a rental place alive. And
I've seen
if
'em.
you want to be a dick, you can do it at GameStop anytime you want.
That's true.
You go there, put a deposit down
Um,
play it for a while. It's up to 7 days, and then you can get your money back.
they actually opened new movie stores, and I've seen them. One's in New Hope Family Video. They've opened them in the past 5 years.
Yeah, I
There's
went.
multiple locations, not many, but more than 2.
My aunt was in a home over there, so I'd take her out to lunch, and then after I'd take her to the video store over there because it was right next to the
What's
place.
it like? I've never been in them.
It was perfect. I walked in. There's this younger woman at the counter, and she's like chewing gum obnoxiously.
Oh, I'm getting chills. Like
Yeah.
like I'm like a kid again. Like
yeah,
a time machine.
and she's like reading something. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like chewing gum, like, and looks over at me. Hey. And then like looks back all slow. And then I go, I'm like, "Hey, do you have this on DVD?" And she just gives me this look like I'm bothering her. I'm just like, I feel at home. Like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
She probably makes the same amount of money we made back there.
Exactly.
The very first video store I ever went to was when I lived in Northeast, over in Columbia Heights when I was little. And Corey, my cousin, and I used to ride our bike up to this place. It was right off Johnson Street. I cannot remember the name of it. It was some small place. And it literally, when I think back on it, Clerks, his buddy that works in the
Yes.
video store, looked exactly like that. Like the shelves seemed extra tall. Everything was jammed in there, and the aisles were super close. But that's where we'd rent our Nintendo games. I got Contra, I rented Contra there for the very first time.
The feeling of renting a game as a kid, man. Holy crap.
Excited to get it home. You're like, oh, yeah. And you didn't want to bring it back. Sorry.
There was tennis for NES.
Yeah.
I rented that from a gas station.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Everybody was trying to get in on the craze.
Oh, yeah.
It was back when like gas stations used to sell like Frisbee discs and Pogs and shit. It's just whatever's right now, we'll sell it at the gas
Snap
station.
bracelets.
See, I kind of stopped going to movie video stores when they started credit card things, and like you needed a credit card or they needed all your info.
Are you a member or rewards?
Yeah, and it
I
just
already gave you my driver's license.
I think actually the last time I went is when I didn't return a game for something. I think it was a Blockbuster, and they tried to screw me. It was like a library coming back at you like 30 years later, like you owe us $10,000 because you didn't return this book.
Screw you, you're gonna be gone soon.
Yeah, so I kind of soured me on the whole. Just the Blockbuster in general, I think it soured me.
They were my least favorite.
They were pushy. They always trying to upsell you on shit.
Yeah,
that drives me. That's why I don't go to Best Buy, because it's just people.
Well, and they're
bothering
closing like hotcakes now. The one right up on 65
Yep.
now is closed. They're the next one.
Yeah.
Daryl probably doesn't remember because it's a little older. I know they're alive for a while, but do you remember Mr. Movies?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I've
You remember Mr.
seen them.
Movies
Yeah,
either?
I've seen them around.
Oh, they were great.
There was one out in Excelsior that I always used to go to when I stayed at my uncle's house.
There was one right on the corner of Brooklyn Boulevard and kind of right by where that rainbow was. It's that Golden Star supermarket in Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center there. I remember going there as a kid. I remember puking outside the front of it, actually.
That's really
Anybody
nice.
knows me, that's...
I remember renting Ghosts of Mars at a Mr. Movies.
Ghosts of Mars, God.
Watching
John
the whole
Carpenter's
thing.
not...
People like
Fallible.
that. People like, well,
I rented that and the original Devil May Cry.
yeah, Devil May Cry I rented. I remember that.
Good one.
I don't know. I miss them, but at the same time, there's so many ways to get your media now that I understand why there's no way they can survive like that.
There's
There's hardly-
Redbox, and that's kind of nice. In a way, it is like a more streamlined version. Like, it all goes back to just like human evolution. So, like, I think I've said this several times, but I remember probably 15 years ago when I was 7 or something like that, walking around, people are saying, you're going to have one device. That one device is going to be your television. It's going to be your alarm clock. It's going to be your telephone.
It's your communicator.
It's going to be everything, just like Star Trek. And I remember riding bikes around and saying to myself, that's never going to happen.
Or like picking something up, pretending like it's that, and you can just do whatever you want with. I remember like having that kind of play device as a kid and using imagination, going, "Oh, it's just I can do whatever with this."
That's going to be the new thing, and now we have it.
Yep.
And now we're just like so bombarded with
Can't
it.
live
and
without it now.
It's instantaneous, and there's hardly ever physical media anymore. Everybody's doing things digital.
Which I don't like.
Well, because they don't want to waste space.
Yeah, but they're charging the same thing. That's
I
what
agree.
bothers me.
If you're gonna take, I mean, printing physical discs and distributing it is such an expensive part of the movie process. If you're saving the money on that,
Yeah.
cut me a deal.
There's no price for the disc. There's no price. They don't have to pay for the case to be made. They don't have to make the paper cover art.
In essence,
printer,
how,
nothing.
how much would that cost, though?
I bet you it's 3/4 of the price of the movie.
Distribution is huge, man. That's where you get all your funding. I mean, your producers come in and
Yeah, they don't have to pay shipping. They don't have to. Nobody has to pay for anybody to work at the store. You know what I mean? There's like all these things that doesn't have to be, and yet that thing is still $25. You know,
The only
deluxe
thing,
edition.
the only overhead you would have for just distributing digital movies is the storage space on your servers and to output it. And I mean, really, what else?
Yeah,
are you paying
because
for?
now there's a cap on what you can download in your personal home,
Oh,
isn't
don't
there?
get me started.
Well, I'm just
I
saying.
saw that the other day. Comcast really does that?
I guess
That's crazy, man.
we better start watching it because I'm uploading all this.
Oh,
That's
well, you
crazy.
can come over to my house.
Hey, Joe, can I come over and do my uploads at
I have CenturyLink.
Well,
I can do whatever the hell I want.
I got to
on
get a
It just takes
USB.
8 days to upload it.
It's not bad. I downloaded or I installed Grand Theft Auto. It's 80 something gigs now, like 89 gigs.
Oh, yeah.
And it took an hour. That's nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not bad at all.
What year do you think Hollywood Video originated?
92.
91.
88, the year I was
I was
born.
gonna say.
Oh, it's as old as you, dude. You outlived a movie store. Are they closed? Are they like liquidated and shut doors?
Hollywood
and-
Video?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
would've
they
The
don't-
chain was the largest direct competitor to Blockbuster Video, until it was purchased by Movie Gallery in 2005.
Movie Gallery. Yeah.
Hollywood Video ceased operations in May 2010 when Movie Gallery, its parent company, declared Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The last U.S. store closed its doors on July 31st, 2010, whereas the last one in Canada closed August 8th of that year. As of late 2011, the HollywoodVideo.com site has been relaunched as a blog, which was discontinued in October 2014.
That didn't last long.
Wow.
That's still not that long ago. I thought I would have imagined it.
It's under a decade.
It
yeah.
felt like it was long.
You know why they failed? People stole
Yeah.
the hell out of their movies. When I worked at Hollywood Video, I'd see broken cases all the time.
Yeah.
And then discs
What
just
if you're
gone.
paying $250 for each one of them? Huh?
Yeah. I remember when a little Jake criminal story. It was not really me that's criminal, but I used to hang out with this guy and we were going to Coburn's, to rent our games and stuff like that, PlayStation games. Come to find out, this dude, when we were there, this guy was sniping games like the entire time.
He's just walking around. He's just stealing shit.
We got back to my house one day, and he had a stack of 25.
Just discs?
The cases and everything. Like, he figured out how to get out of Coburn's without going through or some way to go. When somebody wasn't looking, he'd lift them over the little sensor thing and just walked out. Because there was always some
Early
person that wasn't.
security.
Because the person that did the videos was also doing the cigarette counter and everything else, so they're constantly distracted. This changed after a while.
Yeah.
One day I get a knock on my door at my apartment, and he, of course, didn't really have anywhere to go, so he'd leave him at my house because I had the PlayStation 2 and blah, blah. Get a knock on my door. It's a fucking detective coming to my door saying, "We know you have these," because it was on my account. I was the account guy when we were there. And I'm like, "I'll go. You can go upstairs and get whatever you want." He left him here. It's him. I gave him his name, where he was, all of these things. Guess who ended up going to court for it? And getting charged with it. They ended up letting me off because they couldn't prove it was me that did it, which I didn't, and they never went after him. He just got away. It's like, dude, thanks a lot, man. Like, that was like a felony, like big time, because it was so much money worth of stuff, because of what they had to pay
I
for
suppose, yeah. That adds up.
And it was scary because I'm just like, dude, I didn't do it. Well, they're in your possession. I was like, okay, but I'm telling you who took them right now, like, and where you can find them, like things like that. They didn't care. They just wanted to scare the hell out of us, make me go to court, spend money. And the judge was really nice. I'm like, I didn't do, if I did this, I would tell you, but I didn't do it. And I explained the whole thing again too, but I remember that. It's the first time I was ever scared by the law. Oh, actually, that's not true. First time I was scared by the law is when I shot out a streetlight in the alleyway with my buddy with his BB
good.
gun.
I hope that would scare you.
And the cop showed up and
they made us sell candy like hotcakes. They would rather you sell candy than movies.
Yep, that's true. Well, they made more money on it, probably.
Yep. Yeah, but that's why they died. I think just theft in general.
Upselling and that stuff too. I think the whole customer service, like you're saying, kind of like Best Buy, and people didn't want to go in and
be harassed.
It's bad enough the prices you were paying for how many. I mean, I remember people getting pissed at like, man, what the hell do I have to? When you could keep a movie for a week, like that was like a thing. Like that's like, oh damn, you get to keep this movie for a week for $5 now, and it's like. People got sick and having to go and return it. And that's why I'm kind of surprised Redbox sticks around.
I was kind of a terrible employee because if I saw anybody had late fees and the manager wasn't around, I would just not care.
So would I. I would always do that too. I'd be like, dude, next time you got to pay it. Whatever. But I think it was a lot of, like you said, the upselling thing and bothering people, because people that went to video store, at least for me, when I went to a video store, that was my time. Like, I just was browsing and in my own world of movies, like thing. And if somebody comes up to me constantly, like, "Can I help you find anything?" Blah blah blah, and then you get to the counter and they're trying to, well, for this much more you can do this.
Why don't you get the pack with the popcorn and the candy for $20?
Like, can I just go?
I have popcorn at home and it's better than yours.
Yeah, and cheaper.
Yeah.
It sucks though, because I did have fun. Like I said, that one video store had an arcade in it too. So it was like you go rent your movie or go look at movies and then go play pool and arcade machines in the back. It was awesome.
So, if we all worked in a movie store, what do you think was the worst part about working at a movie store? Me, I remember mine. You guys are going to be like, "Oh my god, this is so Justin." I know Jake's going to laugh at me.
Germs.
But I never... Daryl beat me to it.
I was going to say cleaning
I never
or
thought
germs,
about
having
how
to dust
gross movie cases were until I started working it. And I'm like, I remember being just like, oh, what the hell? Especially kids' movies.
The discs are all sticky sometimes.
Like,
and what is this?
What the hell did you coat this in?
Yeah.
I remember going home. I think that's when I started carrying hand sanitizer in my car, was when I worked at Cashwise Video. Just get off and be like, oh my god, I'm done with this.
I think my least favorite thing was the pay, because I'd work like 800 hours and get a check for like $200.
It's one of those movies or one of those jobs you do because you're a millionaire and you just like doing it.
Or
you can't
kid.
support yourself.
I was in high school trying to pay for gas to get to school, because when I lived up in Princeton, I was still driving to Osseo to go to school, because I didn't want to switch schools again for my last 2 years. So I had to pay for all my gas, my insurance, everything for a car. And I remember the owner's daughter liked me, and she was like 350 pounds. And I remember she invited me over to dinner.
Jake.
Well, she was. She was bigger than me.
Jesus.
Well, she was bigger than me.
When you were a big dude.
And I was a big dude. And she invited me to dinner, like a date thing. And I didn't want to say no because I didn't want to piss him off because I needed the job. So that was like 2 dates I had to go on with her. It was so uncomfortable. I just remember being very uncomfortable in my life about that.
You know what? We might have to do a show about just uncomfortable dates
Oh, geez, I got a lot of those.
eventually. We might have. Maybe we'll do that around Valentine's Day.
I feel like Snape when he's like backing against the wall.
Valentine's Day, we're gonna do a show like that or something.
Man, I got a
like,
lot.
Yeah, we should.
That sounds fun.
I might
I'm
have
sure
to
we've
warn
got
a
some
couple
good
people not to
stories.
listen to that show. 'Cause that's
Change the names of some identities.
yeah. This is Jason this week, filling in for Jake. You know?
I'm Dequarius.
Yeah.
Aquarius.
Ha ha, Clinton
Jason.
Cunningham. I don't know. Oh, guess what I had Stevie watch last night?
What?
The Thing.
And
Yes.
original
She-
87.
Yes. And she would look away and was like, this is disgusting. Like all the creature effects and stuff.
Yeah.
She never got scared. I even did one of those when it was real quiet and I'm like, "Bah!" Like that.
Yeah.
Only thing I scared was her cat sitting there. It was like jumped up and was like, what the hell? But she watched it. She's like, I watched that for you. Cause whatever.
She didn't get any enjoyment out of it.
I just wanted to show her like, this is what scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. And like, this is one of my all time
I do
favorite
that
movies.
too. Be like, just so you know, just
But
a reference of who I am.
she
I
just-
got Lori to watch Borat last week because I'm like, okay, you need to see this because I'm quoting it every day.
Yeah.
And
she
she just watched, just like,
it's uncomfortable. That's an uncomfortable movie. But yeah, she just was like this. That was disgusting. Like all the effects and stuff, and she
Bruno.
just didn't get it. No, the thing,
gross.
Bruno.
Great.
Just one of those things. I could barely handle the Borat scene with his buddy in the hotel room. So I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I couldn't
yeah,
handle
I remember, yeah.
Bruno. But anyway, yeah, she didn't. She was not.
Do you
into
look
it.
like Phil Margera?
Yeah,
He did.
and pretty much. But yeah. I don't. Video stores are fun though. I liked working there because I loved movies and I got free rentals.
Yeah, you can
and
bring
we could
home a
watch
new
'em.
movie every night.
Yeah, I'd always put a movie on the TV or whatever. But
At Game Crazy, they always had tournaments for Halo 2.
Oh, yeah.
And I was always big into that. I wasn't the greatest, but I still, played and everything else like
I
that.
probably saw you up there bunches of
Oh,
times
yeah.
before I knew you.
Like, I was there for every midnight release.
Yep.
I was there for
Oh,
Halo
yeah.
2 release. Halo 3, I was
I
there.
remember getting Halo 3 there, man. Oh, I was so pumped to get that game.
Finish the
I hated
fight.
Halo 3.
Finish the fight. And I know, never mind. I'm just so disappointed in
In the
Halo
grand
5.
scheme of all the
Yeah.
Halos, it's the least of my problems. 1, 2, and 3 are the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Reach and ODST, I'm not worrying about 3 when there's other crappier ones. But moving on, I digress.
Yes.
Yeah, it's sad that they're gone. But even like we were talking about Redbox, I've maybe used Redbox 5 times. And I don't like renting stuff because if I forget that thing,
It adds up.
it's going to cost you. And it sucks. And I don't like that.
Well, it was nice when they started, and it was like, all right, sweet, $1 a day for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, you got to start doing math, 'cause it's like
We-
$1.65 or something. You're like, oh,
But that's
God.
okay because if you do the math, I'm sorry I just quoted you. But if you go on like the Xbox store and say you wanted to watch
Oh,
it,
yeah.
you're gonna pay $6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to Redbox
For one watch.
yeah, you're gonna go to Redbox, you'll get it for a whole day.
And you
Yeah.
get to rewatch it if you want to be like, damn,
Yeah.
I'm watching that again. Can you do that with digitals? Do you get it for a period, or is it just a single watch?
I think it's 24 hours, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it
you might
should-
be right.
Yeah,
I-
absolutely. So you get more value from it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
That's what it's all about, convenience and value now. That's why they went away.
Plus, I was always paranoid that the fact that I'm going to get the disc that's already damaged by the last guy that did it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'd return it, and for some reason they'd check them that or something, and then they'd try to and it's just it's a pain in the ass. And most times movies that I really want to see, I'll see it in the theater, and then I will just buy them when they come out on DVD and watch them myself. Like I don't rent stuff.
Do you remember like going up there and like not having it? Like, we have
Oh.
50 copies and they're all freaking gone.
Yep.
And then they had to start like we guarantee it's in stock or your next rental's free.
Yep. I remember having to look at the app to see which one had it.
An app.
Yeah, on
for Redbox.
for Redbox. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I'm
what I
talking about, like,
use.
movie stores.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it would say out
Yeah.
or rented
and
out
then they
or
started
something.
like guaranteeing and they'd have like 1,000 copies of them.
That was the start of their downfall,
That's what I'm
Blockbusters,
saying.
because they had to invest so much money
Just to
they
have
had
one title in
one
stock.
wall, one movie.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted it, and that's another thing I hated. It's like I took the time to come all the way here, and I could walk in there. I'm just like,
A whole section of one.
yeah, they're gone. It's like, damn it. And then you have to wait till they
That's what I'm
call
saying.
you, till somebody
Yep.
brings it back. It's just like, ugh. I just read whatever.
If I want to do this BS, I'll go to the library.
But I have to give movie stores credit because I saw a lot of movies that I would never have had the chance to see, whether my family wouldn't let, when I was younger, wouldn't let me see it. Like the first time I saw Terminator was on VHS that I rented.
Yeah.
Or my dad rented it or something. But I saw a lot of stuff that I would have never been able to see.
I've seen a lot of stuff like now as I'm older, like being like, wow, I remember that, like you said, I remember that cover or seeing that movie. Maybe I should see that now as an adult, especially horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never saw any of those movies because the covers frightened me.
Dude.
And then as an adult, I watch them and I'm like, oh man, this, like Dead Alive, that cover scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Basket case.
Yep.
Remember those
And then now I
covers?
watch them and I'm like, oh, okay, these are hilarious, not scary at all.
Yeah. I remember The Howling. The one with the ripping the skin
rips,
out. Yeah. And like, man. Even the Nightmare on Elm Street box covers were scary and like, yeah. It was cool. I liked it. And then I'd rent movies just by how they look sometimes on
Yeah.
the cover, That's how I
Yeah,
got Event
that's-
Horizon. That's how I first saw that.
I mean, I wonder how much movie covers have changed just since people don't have to do that anymore. Like, I mean, can you imagine like how much money they'd invest in somebody just making movie covers so somebody pick it off the shelf? Nowadays, you don't really need to do that
No.
because nobody's browsing them.
Yeah.
Kind of changes the industry a little bit.
I miss it. I don't like digital download stuff. I like
Same.
physical copy, but
It's all about
like
the
still so
experience.
I like the
expensive.
community.
yeah.
Like I'd go up there on a Friday night and there would be some buddies up there.
yeah.
You'd always run into somebody.
Yeah, especially somebody working there. Like for me personally, because I worked at that Hollywood video. So
And date nights. I remember date nights. Like we're gonna cook dinner and then watch these and have the Blockbuster thing sitting there. I remember those days. Yeah, they were
It's
good
not the
ones, though.
same. Like now when you go out to get a movie, you go by yourself. You don't run into anybody.
No.
It's always raining when you go to Redbox.
oh,
too.
of course, why wouldn't it?
Or freezing cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can I-
it's like this
can I,
screen you have to lift up now and you're
Yeah.
punching and lifting the screen. You got to reach for your wallet and it's just not. There's no.
Here's
aesthetic.
a fun fact you may not know. Redbox Automated Retail LLC was initially funded by McDonald's Corporation.
I remember
That's
that.
right, because they started having them in them
so
first.
it's all McDonald's.
It is all McDonald's.
I don't think they have them in McDonald's anymore either.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
Do
they're
they?
in there.
Oh, big time.
Do
Yeah.
they?
And Cub.
Yeah, I'll believe it.
Walgreens.
Cub, I just got one up by Bill's, that small gas station. I'm like, this is awesome.
And I
It's
got
so
all
close.
the rip-off ones too. Now there's like,
Plus, it's so close and out of the way that there's something always there.
Exactly.
I think
never gonna be sold
I
out.
think Blockbuster even has like a Netflix or a Redbox.
they
kind of
did because
machine in
they
the
had
blue.
they had it up at the Bill's gas station by my house and
Yeah.
they took it away.
And then there's
So that
another red
failed.
one like Popcorn Flick. No, that's an app. There's another thing where it's like it looks like a Redbox, but it's something else.
I remember when you had to. Well, when they sent it to you in the mail. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And you could make a queue on the internet on your
Oh,
computer.
GameFly.
No.
No,
This was Netflix when it
Netflix.
first came out.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
or not
Netflix
Oh,
physical.
Netflix. That's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't Redbox. I'm sorry. But it was. I remember that when you could make your queue, and then when they just go down your list, and when you returned it, they'd automatically send you the next thing. And my cousin lived in Robbinsdale, which was right by their shipping hub. So he could say he wanted a movie in the morning, and it would be there in the mail.
Oh, they were
that
so
day.
fast.
Like it was like wow.
They were really
So
fast
Not even
then.
an overnight or nothing. It was like that day. But I remember watching a lot of stuff on that Netflix back in the day like that.
It's just weird how it's evolved because we had like these half video stores and now it's mostly like online.
It's all instant digital.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give it to me
obviously,
now.
I prefer the physical copies because I have a huge.
Because you're a
collection.
collector, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, the next generation probably doesn't care about that. They just want to see it. They don't need it.
They'll just have a picture on their when it's playing on their phone. And
What's a
that's good.
VHS?
What's a VHS?
Yeah.
An old what do you call it?
What were they?
Garbage.
It's a cartridge.
Yeah, tape.
Do people even know what a cartridge is anymore?
Probably not. The hell's a cartridge? They barely know what a CD is.
Yeah, true. I know. I buy CDs and people look at me like I'm weird.
Yeah. I
I'm
just
like, well, that's what my car has. It's old.
I even have MP3 in my car, but I still like to listen to a disc. It sounds good.
I mean, people listen to vinyl. Nobody freaks out at them.
Well, vinyl's a trendy thing now.
It
Plus,
sounds good.
It does sound good. I like vinyl sound too. MP3s and stuff like that just seem like they're washed out unless they're really done really well. It just the music's not as unless it's done really well.
And something about a feel of like watching VHS, like I've said this before, maybe not on the show, but I hold by it a lot. Like especially horror movies, that quality, like watching it on VHS and stuff. I like that, the grittiness of it.
Watching Thing on VHS originally.
Perfect example.
It's completely different than watching it now on disc.
Yeah.
Like, because it just looks 80s now. It doesn't have
that noise
or the tracking bar all of a sudden.
Yep.
I remember when our VCRs at home, because we were broke, would start going bad, and my dad would never fix it. So then I'd be watching a movie, and then I was watching Total Recall for the first time, and the tracking started going bad because the heads were dirty, and you couldn't see anything. And I remember trying over and over and over to try to fix it and hitting the tracking buttons and stuff.
Trying
but
not
just
to have
needed
it
to be
eat
clean.
the tape, and you'd hear that of it eating. Oh shit!
Yep.
It's eating the tape.
And you pull it out, and it's just like, zzz, damn.
Gotta buy this movie.
Yeah. Those are good old days, though.
And then, like I was saying earlier in the show, the separate rewinders that you'd have, you take it out and put it in your.
I never owned those.
You parents didn't have one of those?
No, I just rewind it in the machine. That's why Dad always hated that, because it wore your machine out.
Exactly. That's why you got the rewinder, because it wore your I don't know, whatever the hell out.
Mine still works strong.
You have a VCR still?
I have a huge collection of VCR tapes.
Oh,
Like
awesome.
I have most of the old Disney movies.
I was about to say, you have to watch horror movies and Disney movies in VHS. It's the perfect format for both of those.
I like old sci-fi, too. And
yeah.
You'd be impressed with my VHS
I'd like to see
collection. It's, like I said, mostly...
They take up so much space and they're so heavy.
It's a huge shelf.
do you
It's
guys...
like Gilbert Grape's mom. You got to burn down the house when you need to move out. You don't want to just...
My God.
Did you guys remember the first DVD you ever watched?
Yes.
DVD?
Yeah, the first movie? Which one was it?
Killing Him Softly.
Killing Him Softly.
Dave
bread?
Chappelle.
Really?
Oh.
That was your first one? Jesus.
That, and we've talked about this before, but Freddie got fingered.
I don't remember
that was up
DVD.
there. That was close, but I remember... I'm trying to think.
And Saving Private Ryan, I think. Maybe not.
I can't think... Well... Yeah, I mean, I really can. I can think of a lot
The
of
first one I bought-
VHSs I've seen.
The first one I bought after I got my PS2 was Spaceballs. Because it was the cheapest DVD out there.
Yeah.
That was the first DVD I owned.
Dude, I've been collecting movies so long, I don't know. I can't remember.
I only have like a quarter of your collection. Not even. Personally.
Well, and I've seen way huger than mine.
I know what it was. The very first DVD player I ever bought, I saw it Sphere.
Oh,
on
yes.
DVD, and I hate that fucking movie so
Why do you
much.
hate it?
I just think it's dumb. But that's just me. That's just me.
gosh,
just-
I
It hurts
can't-
my feelings a
I
little.
feel, like
You know,
I feel
it
like mine
doesn't-
was like a Tarantino movie, like Reservoir Dogs. Or
I'm sure there was
like
something
that.
because I'm thinking in my brain. I thought for sure it was a Harrison Ford movie, like
Fugitive?
I don't know if
Air Force One.
Witness.
that might have been it.
Ooh.
That might have been it.
Get off my plane.
How dare you, sir? Which one was that from? That was Patriot Games or some shit, right?
Clear and Present Danger.
Clear and Present Danger. That's what I was. I love Harrison Ford, man. I love that guy. I love him. Even in Blade Runner, like we were talking about before, when he starts crying, thinking about his old lady, man,
Yeah,
it's
that's a
good
good
stuff.
flick.
It's good stuff.
It's not
Yeah.
an episode of Cyber Launch without bringing up Blade Runner.
I can't help it, man. I just like that movie. It reminds me of the old. Never mind. My first DVD I ever bought was Blade Runner. It was
The final cut?
nope, the regular cut, because back then that was what we had.
I suppose, yeah.
The extended cut came out. I mean, criminy, that was early '90s.
There's
So
7 versions of that movie.
yeah,
Yes.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
only one definitive version though.
I always prefer, when it comes to movie release, whatever the director wants.
Yeah.
Whatever he wanted it to look
Unless
like.
it's Zack Snyder.
Well, it depends. I was
Well,
watching Watchmen the
Watchmen,
other
yeah.
day, and I was like, damn, this still holds up.
I love that movie. It's such a. That's one of those movies
It's
that
got
either you
its-
love it or you hate it.
If
but
you want to nitpick, you can definitely find things, but
I was looking at a thing about that, and somebody's like, I hated that movie. I didn't like Rorschach or whatever that guy's with the mask that changed
Obviously.
shapes. It's like, dude, you don't get it. So, I love that movie. I saw that in the theater 3 times. I love that movie.
Just to go deeper into the rabbit hole. You guys like graphic novels, obviously.
oh yeah.
I don't read graphic novels all that often, but I got turned on to this one called Saga, Saga.
I've heard of it.
I haven't.
I don't know if you can get a hold of it. Anyway, highly recommend it.
Saga.
Awesome sci-fi. It reminds me of like Game of Thrones in space, kind of.
I'll have to check it
The
out.
main
Yeah, I
premise
like
is
that.
there's like 2 different races. There's one that's like an angel and one that's like a demon kind of race, but they look human. And they just had their first hybrid child. And they're like running away from 2 separate armies that are at war with each other in space.
Sounds interesting. I might have to check that out.
Is it a series?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe it goes up to 50 or something like that. I meant to mention it, but I literally, someone let me borrow it. I sat down, I started reading it, and I was like, I'm just going to kind of page through this. I didn't stop till I was done with the graphic novel.
Yeah, they do. Graphic novels do that. They can
It wasn't
suck you
that
in.
thick. It was a quick read, too. There was a lot of bigger pictures that took up most of the page, so I wasn't that proud of myself. But I like the story.
I read a book.
No, it's more of a picture
Really?
book.
Do you call that a book? Would you if somebody's like, oh, I read lots of books, and then you go to their house and all on their shelf is just all graphic, not like comic book novels?
It's a story with words, so technically, yes, it's a book.
Is that just being pretentious, maybe?
Yeah,
A little bit.
kind of.
But yeah, I know
Like,
what you're
what are
saying.
you reading? A Tale from Two Cities?
Yeah.
And Catcher in the Rye constantly?
Ugh.
Well, to be honest, there's graphic novel adaptations of a lot of classic novels. Just because it's got pictures around it doesn't mean you're not reading that same novel. So it depends on it, I guess.
Speaking of graphic novels, you know the Sylvester Stallone movie that came out a while ago called Bullet to the Head?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you know that's based on a graphic novel?
No.
No.
I didn't either until I watched it. I just watched it because I was awake and I was
Has
looking
Khal
through
Drogo in it.
Oh, it was horrible.
It's bad, but it's fun.
The violence is awesome, though.
Yeah, I
like,
love
it was
that
like,
movie.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but it was
No,
cool.
just because of the action.
Yeah.
I saw that at Regal. Rest in peace.
Freaking Stallone at his worst talking, like you couldn't understand anything. Ugh. And just the idea of that it was, but it was Drago, and one of those must have been one of his first movies. Jason Momoa.
Probably. That was the first time I really remember seeing him.
It had to be. The end fight scene was pretty cool, like with the axes. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone's like 90 years old and still like freaking just jacked and all veiny.
Well,
Yeah, well, duh. Like it's like Jesus, I wonder. But even Momoa back then wasn't as big as he is
No,
now. Now
yeah.
he's just ridiculous.
got that HBO and DC money now.
Got that steroid money. Yeah.
Remember one time I worked for a video store and I was dating this girl. And I don't know how I got about it, but somebody had a late fee I had to call in for or something like that. And I looked and it was that girl, and we broke up and it was that girl's dad.
Oh, no.
Oh.
So I had to call.
Yeah.
Hello? Hi, this is from Hollywood Video. And he's just
Back
like,
when you had to call people
Yeah.
to get them in.
Okay, never mind. I changed. That's the worst thing about working at a video store.
Yeah.
I hated it. People are just
Agreed.
like, go fuck yourself and hang
Agreed.
up.
That
the thing
was-
was, I went to call him. You know, back in the day, you had to have like the home phone number. I called him without having to look it up. I just saw his name because I remembered his
You just
number
knew it.
from
God damn
dating
it.
his girl or from dating his daughter or whatever. And then he's like, "Yeah, well, I have you on the phone. You got Beowulf? That's
yes.
how old that."
The animated
Yeah.
movie, that's
that
right.
movie wasn't
Yeah.
that bad, actually.
It wasn't bad.
Except everybody fought naked in it.
It was creepy. The kid was that scream that he would do. Was
There's that
weird.
giant fight in the feast hall was awesome, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was annoying.
It's a
Awkward.
good old limerick.
Or like somebody comes in just to like rent a movie with their kid, and you're like, you got $35, and they just unload their shit.
Oh yeah,
all their
freak
day
out.
stress.
And
on
you know when they come up to that counter, they look at you and you know damn well that they know that they owe you money
Yeah.
and that you're gonna say something.
But
and
they know
have
you
it
can also
prepared.
ignore it.
Right, but they have it prepared. Like, oh, that must have been my kid. I had no idea. Oh, your kid rented like all these adult movies, like not adult movies, but like
R
shit,
movies.
Shit, kids wouldn't watch. Like, oh, he rented a bunch of documentaries, huh? This little 8-year-old in front of me, huh?
Okay, so one of my thoughts with this is that you charge people for the movies and you try to upsell them on the popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't? And no, this is not a very healthy option. Wouldn't contribute to a lot of.
Sell them apples?
No,
Oh.
instead of having to pay for the movies, you pay like a very very small membership fee a month, and you have I don't know, maybe not the membership fee, but say like I was going to spend $7.50 on a movie. What if I gave you your movies for free, but you have to buy $7.50 in popcorn and pop?
I feel like they did do like subscription
They did.
at places where you become a member and you can have as many rentals as you want as long as you can have 1 or 2 rentals out at a time. I know they did that.
It seems to me in my mind, maybe I'm making this up in my brain, but I remember, they'd sell popcorn, like buckets of popcorn.
Yeah.
And you could get it, if you bought it, it was like an exorbitant amount of money or something with your membership, but you could get it refilled when you came back. Like they'd give you more packages or they'd fill it or give you another tub.
They're just passing the buck. It's like when you go to a gentleman's club and you get in for free, but you got to buy 4 drinks.
Yeah, and the juice,
And
the
they're
cranberry
$10
juice.
each.
Yeah, the cranberry juice you buy is freaking $18. I remember that mess. Because Deja Vu was that? Did they have liquor there?
No.
Are you sure? I kind of remember drinking a Heineken there. No, that wasn't there.
No.
So yeah, that was non-alcoholic. So it was juice and pop, and it was $18. and then you get a lap dance, and they're like, "Hey, would you like to tip your lady?" I'm like, "No, didn't I already just do that? I just bought an $18 cranberry juice, you dick." And then when it's empty, you got to buy another one. Like
Those places are still open though, huh?
Oh yeah, there always is a place for that, I suppose.
Strip club / movie store.
That's one of the best parts of Ozark when he buys that just horrible dump of a strip club.
That's right.
God,
yeah.
that was good to launder money through it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a whole nother episode that we could go off on, but we're not going to talk about that.
I just want to ask you guys a question. This just happened. I guess, say you lived in China and you were 16.
China.
You know that they don't allow like games and things like that over there.
Really?
Yeah.
In China?
Yeah,
or
there's
North Korea.
In China.
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 So they don't have a lot of mainstream things.
Okay. Yeah, and American
This
movies.
kid
are
said
kinda
he was
Western
16. He knew nothing of games. Say that you're 16, you knew nothing of games, and your parents accidentally buy a PS4 with Uncharted 4, and you experience that game for the very first time. What are your top 5 games to go back to and try and play catch up for a life once devoid of games?
So, like, if I was just starting in games, what would
Now.
I... How about
Like,
if
say
I knew this kid and what games would I tell him to do?
This
Exactly.
Is out of left
Top
field. I
5?
gotta think here.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Super easy. I'd give him one throwback game just to let him know what we used to do. And he'd probably love that because he'd never seen it before.
Super Mario.
I was gonna say Mario.
64. Mario 64.
Oh, you
Open
got
world.
older than that.
No. Open world, Mario.
That's the oldest game you're gonna give them?
I mean, it's 20-something years old.
He's already seen Uncharted 4, which is like, if I saw that for the first time,
Yeah,
that
but
would
he
look
also
real.
has a humanoid robot doing his dishes over there, probably. So it ain't
No,
gonna,
he
like,
moved to Australia.
What?
Well, it's tech over there.
Say
They
like
got
you
tech
lived in
over there.
China
I'm so
and then you moved to Australia.
Okay.
And now you're allowed any game you can play or whatever. What are the 5 games you're going to prescribe to him?
Mortal Kombat would be one of them for fighting.
I feel like you have to run the gauntlet of all the different styles of gaming too. You have to give him like a puzzler.
Actually,
You
maybe
have to
one
give him
from
like
each
a
decade.
shooter. Yeah.
Something good from each decade.
That's what I mean.
Last of Us would be in there for sure.
I feel like you'd have to have 5 per decade.
Jeez.
I don't know if...
That's a lot.
I don't know, but it is, but it
A
isn't.
smorgasbord of
Because if you think about a 5 per decade, so that's 5, like say like Nintendo decade. That's 5 games there, and then you go 16-bit, so that'd be Sega, Super Nintendo. You go 64-bit, which I don't really know if there was a rival with that other than some computers. And then you'd go, well, I guess Dreamcast, or is it Sega Saturn? Yeah,
Saturn, yeah.
Saturn was in competition with Dreamcast.
A failure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you had PS2.
I think there's a lot of like PlayStation games I wouldn't show anybody because they're...
There's so damn many of them, and they just
And they're bad.
Overlaid.
Now
They are
they're not
bad.
bad, but you know what I mean. Like they're. If you look at Uncharted and then you go back to a PlayStation, it's like okay.
Here's my
Especially
5,
playing-
my 5 that I think everybody should play. Mario. I can't say which one because Mario World probably is 2 or 3, maybe.
maybe Super Mario World would maybe
know.
be an okay compromise.
A Zelda game of some kind, like just for the RPG element of it, like exploring things and blah blah blah. Maybe. Last of Us for sure.
Oh, that
But
dude.
that'd be the last one because it's like the pinnacle for me. That's a
But
pinnacle.
he already played Uncharted. What's really the big difference?
It's way better.
The story.
The story's way better.
Well,
That's
the
like a
story.
masterwork in story and feeling,
Masterpiece.
and mechanics, and it's a masterpiece in my opinion. That was like the one game I would say that is a 10.0. There's no other game that I would say that.
You said a fighting game, like a
Mortal Kombat, just because you'd be like,
2 or 3.
2. I think that's probably what I would.
Ultimate 3.
Ultimate 3 is pretty good.
Said Ultimate at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's true. That's true. I would
Just
say
give 'em
okay,
that
I agree
more
with that.
characters.
I agree with that. And then
More to work
or
around.
maybe just like an old Mario game, then a newer Mario game, just to show them like.
The progression.
So maybe I could do 10. So
I
like
would-
Mario World 3 and then Mario 64. And then you do Mortal Kombat 2 and then go to Mortal Kombat 9.
I
agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's just show them the progression. The original Grand Theft Auto and then go to Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yep.
From top down to open world just
Yep.
out of nowhere.
I agree.
I think that's probably what I'd do. I think I'd have.
Is that your secret question? 'Cause that's kind of a good question.
No.
Oh.
But it can be.
No.
It kind of was.
I think it's Justin's turn for a secret question. Isn't it?
I didn't have one.
But
That was a story I heard off of Game Scoop. Shout out.
that's a good one.
Sorry.
What would
but
you do? What would you say?
I would have to say first game would be the original Super Mario Brothers.
Original?
Yeah,
With the
because
PAL?
here's like the caveat to that is that there's more than one game on that cart. So technically he's going to get Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt, yeah,
and
for
he's going to get
Got him with the technicality, huh?
I think it's just Duck Hunt
Yeah,
It is
Mario
just
and
Duck
Duck
Hunt
Hunt,
Super
and
Mario
Mario.
Brothers.
From there, I would go Super Mario 64. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The next jump, oh man,
Twisted Metal.
You got to give him a good shooter in there too, because
You got to do a good racing game too.
yeah.
I mean, there's all. I think you
That's a tough
try to give
question,
them
man.
something from every genre, and
Yeah.
be like, here's the original. Here's what they're doing now with it. You know what I mean?
To
Like,
be able to show the vastness of gaming and how far it's gone, I think is what
Yeah.
you need to do with your picks.
imagine
is
showing them
tough.
an original Zelda, and then going to this one.
Or even just showing them like a Pong or
That's
an
what I
Atari
mean, like-
game or
Yeah, right.
something.
Yeah.
that's why I guess. Well, then if that's the case, then I would go the original Super Mario Brothers, then Odyssey. But you don't have like that. There's an evolution in between all that, like the character design and everything else
Yeah.
like that.
Well, I think
Because
he'd pick up Odyssey just after we showed him.
I guess Super Mario 3 might have been a better choice to start out with, because it's similar concept, but it's a little bit more polished.
Yeah, it's polished.
Yeah,
The controls are tight. The graphics are cool. The music is.
It's easier to pick up.
What about like a Metroidvania?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's hard.
You have to do like
five.
five through each genre.
Yeah,
It's
you
kinda
really would, I
crazy.
guess.
I mean, like, dude, these are the games you have to play right now.
Metroid though, the original Metroid changed things. Everything after that was like a rehash. Every single Mario game seems to have improved on something or added something, except for ones in here and there. But
Like-
and technically, he probably saw Mario 2 at some point in his life, because it wasn't never released here for a long time. It was
Well,
released under a different
What
name.
about Super Mario Maker? That way, there's all genres, other than the
RPG
3D.
Maker too.
Other than the 3D.
I think you should just go through genre. Be like, this is the racing game, this is the adventure game, this is an open world game, this is an RPG, and this is like a story game. I think that's probably how I would handle it.
It's a tough question.
And then set them loose and be like,
I know.
and now here's all of the games.
RPG, you got to play Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 10.
I'm
I'm a big fan of 10.
I don't
so.
like the old RPG stuff anyway. I
turn based.
Witcher is my RPG style. That's the way I like it. Like action, because I never liked QuickTime, or not QuickTime, but the taking turns attacking.
Yeah.
I hated that when I was a kid. I've always hated that. Chrono Trigger, that was my biggest problem with that. I love the game, but waiting for the attacks and having to do that, it's just, I like getting in there and get my hands dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hack and slash. But with the mechanics of RPG, I love that. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, same thing. But you're like in the action. It's not like you push a button and then it just shows a lightning bolt on that character. I know they were kind of held back by graphical possibilities, but once they started making it where you could hack and slash enemies and it would just show the damage while you were doing it, and that's when I started getting into it. But yeah, I don't know. You'd have to. I think you pick a tentpole game for each generation and show it to them. Be like, this is what we were playing Mario, and this is what it looked like. And then all of a sudden,
what's a tentpole game for our generation, like right now?
I would say Last of Us. That was when that
Remastered. Last
Yeah.
of Us remastered.
when I first played it, I'll never forget that game, ever. I'll never forget how I felt. Dude, I cried in that game. Like, was crying. Like, I don't know if I can handle this game. This isn't, but it made me feel something. It was like there were stakes. Everything had stakes. That's up there. I mean, VR technically is tentpole too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a new thing now.
True. True.
Mobile, something mobile. The Wii, or I mean, not the Wii, but the Switch. I mean,
Candy Crush,
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
Minecraft. Those
Minecraft
are
is-
both tentpoles.
well, I don't know if that's a tentpole. It
It is. All the kids now.
I would
I like
say that's
Dan
the
TDM.
No,
That's the next generation's tentpole game.
I think that's a massive
Absolutely.
that's a community, but I have no interest in Minecraft. Like I'm like, I don't get this. I don't think it's like a everybody likes it. You know what I mean?
If you went and saw a bunch of little kids, you'd be surprised. It pretty much is every single.
I suppose
kid.
I'm thinking outside that box. I'm not thinking
You're
about
thinking
that.
of you and the kids. Every kid is into that.
Why is Minecraft a tentpole game though?
Because when
does
you
it
ask
do?
but when you ask a kid
ultimate
growing up
creativity.
now, like say they're like 7 or 8, when they grow up, they're gonna say, "Oh man, I was nostalgic over Minecraft."
It's Legos for the digital revolution.
Yeah, I guess. I've seen some incredible things that people have built. I saw a dude built a full-size Enterprise.
Yeah.
With full levels, rooms, like he got the blueprints and built this thing. And then somebody came in and destroyed it, I think. Or he did. I think he blew it up or something eventually.
Yeah.
And it
I've
was
seen some
like just
crazy
this.
stuff.
I think VR is a huge thing right
I was
now.
just gonna say Minecraft VR.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle it.
VR is tough to handle in the first place.
Yeah, there's a barrier to entry with it.
I think the biggest VR thing to show somebody is what's like the world that's possible to be in. Like something really intricate. It might not be an action game or anything else, but being in a place where you're like, whoa. Like, not the Job Simulator. What's the other the Rick and Morty game that I played with? I always forget the name of it.
Oh, Accounting Plus.
Accounting Plus. I'm telling you, when I was in that second room with all the filing cabinets just piled up to the ceiling, it had a feel to it where I felt like I was in a fun house, or I was in a Disney World or something like that, just standing there like, oh, this is, or like somebody built a Dr. Seuss set or something like that, and you're just standing around. I mean, I spent most of that game just looking around, and you're like, oh, click over here. I'm just like still looking.
I know. It's not a game to kind of speed run through because there's a lot of audio that both of you guys missed, unfortunately.
It's okay. I'm just saying, like, that kind of game I think is something you...
I just had a funny thought. Wouldn't it be so grimy if the video stores, like if there was one around where you could rent a VR headset?
That's like going to Smash.
It probably wouldn't be bad now. Well, no, they have porn for PlayStation VR already.
What?
So, yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
What'd you say?
There's porn out there for VR.
How'd you guys get to porn?
We didn't.
No, he's like how grimy it would be, and I immediately went to somebody's gonna get all sticky, and I was like, well, wait, they don't have porn, and I'm like, oh wait, yeah, they do. So I would never do that. And plus, you don't know what you're getting when it's on your
people's eye boogers.
I mean,
you got pink eye.
Yeah. Right? Would that be bad or what? Like, did they fart on this or rub their ass on there? Either one of this is not good.
Okay.
You know, that's just my thoughts on pink eye. But anyway.
Well, Justin's the one that freaks out about germs on all the DVD cases.
Feces, come on now.
Just wear rubber gloves.
All the time.
All the time.
Let's go fishing.
Be Niles Crane. Just carry hand sanitizer around everywhere.
To me, I think that's a mistake on people's behalf, but that's just me. I'm an old school guy. Like, if I get some kind of thing, I bet you, I guarantee you I'd survive it over somebody that's grown up using hand sanitizer and killing everything all the time because their body can't fight it off as well.
How long did you guys actually work at a video store?
Oh, we're back to video stores?
No, I'm just curious,
like
though.
6 months?
I worked there for a year and a half, probably, or 2.
Holy buckets.
Well, it was just a family thing. I knew the dad, and, I mean, it was cool at first, but then it started getting... Like I said, I went through my 311 phase with my piercings and my... and he didn't like that. And he told me specifically, do not do that because the customers won't like it. Yeah.
Cash-wise was the same way. It was like I had to take out my earring every night.
Well, he told me not to get my tongue pierced. I told him I was going to do that.
Well, you
and
shouldn't.
he's like, don't do this. And I was like, nobody will tell. And I got it done. And he didn't even know for the first couple of weeks. And then for some reason, I was messing around with it. He's like, what's that? And I was out of there. Like, and I'd worked there for him for like 2 years, had dinner at his house, dated his freaking monstrous sister or a daughter.
Monstrous.
I mean, I did everything I could. And the guy still fired me because I had a tongue stud. But that was a mistake to get that, by the way.
Yes.
That was terrifying.
The 90s were the 90s, though.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
Guys, what was the secret question this week? If there's anything else you want to say.
Say it now or forever hold your peace.
I think so. I had a good time with you, video stores. You're a place of refuge that I feel like I could just take away all my troubles and cares and stare at a bunch of boxes and try to keep track of all the movies that were in my head that I'd like to watch when I could actually watch them because I pick up the case. Can I get this? No, it's rated R. Okay. Then I put it back and I'd be like, all right, I'm always going to get back to you, Jack Frost, the rated R B-rated horror movie.
Man.
Movies like that.
Jack Frost wasn't the horror one, was it?
There's 2 Jack Frosts.
Yeah, Michael Keaton one. I remember.
The family one and there's the horror one.
We talked about it.
We've talked about this.
I don't remember last week sometimes, so whatever.
Okay.
I do have a secret question. It's way off topic, but
I was in the middle of a eulogy.
It's okay. Keep going. I interrupt eulogies.
I love the static that all the TVs that were put together induce whenever you try to turn them off at the end of each night. If you know what I'm talking, yeah, big time. From all the CRTs being together,
walking around the store at the end of the night.
Yeah,
click, click.
Giant convergence.
Did you have to vacuum those damn floors every night too?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, that carpet.
The bag
dusting the shelves.
Oh,
moving everything to dust the shelves.
The bag hasn't been changed in like 3 years.
It had a smell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had that old dirty sweat arcade smell to it.
Yep. Cleaning the bathrooms.
I think
for some reason that were destroyed. Like, who goes into a video store and blows up a bathroom?
I don't know why people go out into public without having to take care of what. Oh my god, the things I've seen people do. It's like. Moving on.
I saw some stuff in Vegas where I'm like, I legit feel bad for whoever has to come in and take care of this. Like, this is crazy. Some bars, people that It's amazing. Like you walk in there at the end of the night, it's like freaking inch and a half of liquid on the floor, and
Yeah.
you're just like, what? Like what do people? They're just animals. First Avenue is the biggest example.
Yeah, I
Every
was
time
just
I've
there
been
a
in that
couple weeks ago,
bathroom,
and yeah.
I am like, there is no way I'm touching anything or even getting
Any
close.
bar in Dinkytown.
Oh, it's amazing.
Sorry, dude.
Anyway,
You were
sorry.
saying something about video stores.
Eulogy.
I was just saying that we love you. We miss you. But in a way, we're kind of glad you're gone because apparently there's too many germs everywhere. So
No, I'm not glad it's gone. I miss it.
I'm indifferent.
we're in a new age, in a new era.
It's true.
Yeah, nobody
The
likes going to
digital
a brick and
era.
mortar store anymore.
Dude, I never thought when I first heard about DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, I never thought that would come to an end, and that lasted not that line there already, not it's more digital than anything anymore.
Yeah.
So, which is a sad thing. Like I said, the physical editions of stuff and having a shelf full of movies that you can go through like books is dying.
Yeah, it's like
and
a
that
book
sucks.
collection.
And then pretty soon DVD players ain't even going to work anymore. Or, they're going to be the VHS machine, and your VCRs.
It's already happening.
It's true. I
With
mean, you
this
can get a
4K.
DVD player for how much now? For like $30.
Yeah.
New.
That's
You can get-
crazy.
Yeah, you can get a used one pretty cheap anywhere.
Dude, people will give you an old DVD player.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember when those first came out in our video store when we first got them.
$279 for like an average
At
one.
least. Yeah. It was crazy. Remember when the first flat screen TVs the plasmas came out?
Yep.
20-something thousand bucks people were paying at Best Buy for these freaking things. And
Stupid.
my uncle paid $8,000 for his, and that same TV you can buy for probably $200 now. It's crazy. It was awesome when he got it though. We set that whole thing up and it was pretty cool. But yeah, technology is weird when it dies, and it's going faster these days. I mean, one thing comes out, everybody jumps on it, and the next
Well,
day
yeah,
it's
technology.
Yeah, like Flappy Bird.
Exponential rate.
He rolls his eyes
I
at
still
Flappy
can't
Bird.
believe that guy was allowed to make any money off that game. I can't believe Nintendo just for the
pipes.
yeah, just for the assets that were stolen out of that game. But to his credit, he quit that game and was like took it off because
yeah.
he's like, I can't do
People were
this.
selling their phones
He was
with
making
it on there.
no, he was making like $20,000 a day, something insane, and he's like a day. It wouldn't even been more than that, and he's like, I can't take this money for this. Like he was one of those guys, except he was like Phil Fish, but not an asshole.
I don't know what that is.
Phil Fish is the guy that did Fez.
I don't
Remember
know
that
what
game?
is.
Oh, yeah. The
And
French producer.
The guy and he freaking like would go off on people. They were like, when's Fez 2 coming out? And he's like, go fuck off and die. And things like this, and then just quit because he went nuts. But the guy just basically was like, I can't in good conscience take all this money for this. This is crazy. And he took it off the market. You can't find it. Yeah, and people were selling their phones because it had it installed on it. It's like having PT. Sell your PlayStation with PT still installed on it,
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Just imagine the crazy like community that's still out there staring at the clock and doing weird shit in that hallway just to figure out if there's an extra Easter egg
little
somewhere.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are. I can guarantee you there's people that do that.
Like you got to go stare out the window for 30 minutes, press up, down, right, left. Like,
Yep.
something crazy.
Data mining shit and be like, oh, this was actually, they said this is in the game. That's crazy.
Before we go to our secret question, there's one last question. What?
Who's doing the secret question?
What did you love? What did you love about working at the video store?
Oh, I thought we already said that.
No, we said
Unlimited
what we-
rentals.
I like getting rentals early.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you could rent 2 days early.
Yeah, that's
Because they
true.
wanted you to like be able to review them for people. Remember those little booklets they'd have with like
Yeah.
how many stars they were?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, I remember picking
and the
those up and-
synopsis.
Yep, and like upcoming movies.
Dude, I went through that book and was trying because I had watched at that time. I had watched so many movies. I pretty much could go down the aisle and seen every one of these movies.
Yeah.
And I'd go through this book to see movies that I had never seen.
Looking for any help you can get.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, those were awesome.
I did. I liked working. I liked talking to people about movies.
I was
like
gonna say
recommending
that was
stuff.
it. We're just being in the community of people that liked movies and we're looking for help.
Yep.
When people came up and asked for a suggestion, I was like, sweet.
Same thing as like why
Awesome.
I worked for Shinders. I love doing that too.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, well, you like this comic? This was cool. I like this. I liked doing that kind of thing. Especially when people came back and were like,
Yeah, hearing
Yeah.
talking about.
you know,
Yeah, I agree. That was probably
we
my
had
favorite
the
part.
employee picks, Jake's picks and blah blah blah, and people
Yep,
and people
yep.
always liked my stuff because I was just I had everything like from sci-fi
Yep,
to
I remember loved
old
doing
western,
that too.
or I'd see some old movie that was just crazy and nondescript, but it was awesome, and I'd put it on there and people loved it. That was fun. Yeah, I like that part of the whole deal.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Who's got the secret answer this week?
Secret answer or secret question?
Both.
Well, I have an answer, but
What's
I'm
the
sure you guys
question?
know. It's way off topic. But I mentioned this a couple
Didn't you
months
do the secret question last week?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
you
last
did.
episode you did.
No,
one.
it was you.
Last episode.
Yeah.
You did.
You did.
You do it again.
What's your question?
Just ask us the question.
Thanks, Daryl. What is your all-time dream car?
Oh, jeez. You gotta ask these non-automotive people here.
Well, that's why I wanted to know, like what you got, because I'm huge into cars. So, I mean, I watch.
Well, why don't you go
videos.
first then and give us a chance? To
My
think about
all-time dream car?
it. Sure.
Is this like something that I just keep for keeping it, or am I actually driving it day to day?
See, I don't. Car collecting always was cool, but it doesn't make any sense to
Does
me.
it
Like,
have
if
to be
I'm-
real?
Yes.
Oh, so I can't see like the Batmobile or Knight
Well,
Rider
that's
or
real.
anything.
That's real, but that can't be that's not. That's a cool thing, but you wouldn't want to drive down the road with that thing.
Hell, I don't.
Have you watched videos of people doing it? It's the worst ride ever, and it's so loud because they're just
I'm
like
talking about
moving
like
movies.
the new like Christopher Nolan tank one.
The Tumbler. Jay Leno there's a video of Jay Leno's garage with him driving it around town,
jeez.
and you can't hear anything when you're in it because it's just raw car. Like they just built the cool outside, and it's inside. It's like a stock car, and the gears they're like straight gears, so it just was like the whole time they're driving it, stuff like that. But it's cool because it's a functional vehicle, and it's cool to watch how they designed it. But I think, do you know, Daryl?
I would have to say the DeLorean.
That's your dream car? That's a garbage car, just so you know. I'd have to
See,
say
this is
on
why I
my
don't want to
body.
answer this question because you can have Judgy McCarface
No,
over here.
the DeLorean is one of the worst cars ever built.
Why?
It's just quality-wise.
What about an El Camino, Daryl?
I'm just thinking
Caminos are
for
awesome.
aesthetics.
Okay. So I look at it differently.
I'm not
like
judging
more
the
of a
merit
ride,
of like how and what it actually was. I'm just saying for aesthetic purposes only. I would also own the Scudo Pikes Peak, and then I would own the Mystery Machine.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Oh, I want the Ghostbusters car, the Ecto One.
There you go.
Yeah, you could probably buy one on
I would
eBay
probably
right now.
say probably a Lambo.
Really?
I don't know,
Which Lambo do you know?
like an old Countach or something.
Like
man.
the like ones people had on their walls and
yeah, man.
Those are cool.
That's kind of like that. Like that's kind of like what I wanted, like as a kid and stuff. And it's like a 20, 30-year-old car, and it still can,
I always
it's
wanted.
pretty unrivaled still in some areas.
I always wanted a Jeep,
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
like a Rubicon or something like
SRT,
that.
an
something
Like
SRT.
just
Climb up
just
mountains
beefed out
An
4x4.
SRT Jeep, fastest SUV on the planet for a while. Yeah, that's a good answer. I think I'd have to say I'm an old school muscle car guy, but I like the new technology. But they're still
Prius.
staying. No. I would say either a Hellcat or a Demon right now, the Challenger.
Oh
Hellcat
yeah.
Demon, just because it's ridiculous American power, just burgers and fries, stupid power, America, and just smoking the tires and everything else, or Shelby GT Mustangs. Pretty much all of those I love. Like I love.
What about Cobras?
That's what I meant. The Shelby Cobras.
Oh, you said Shelby Mustang.
Right. That's what it is. Shelby
Okay.
Cobras.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
Mustangs, but they're made by Shelby, upgraded. The new Shelby GT 350R is probably the car that I would be like, if I won money, that's the car I'd go buy. That's the first thing I'd buy is one of those. Black with red racing stripes and the red brakes on it and the red seats.
I'd buy a Vespa.
No, that would
What
figure.
about a Tesla? One of those new Tesla Roadsters, man.
It's
No.
more name.
Is it?
I think so.
Hey,
Or
for
is it,
here,
or
it
is
is.
it the wave of cars, the wave of the future?
Well, Joe Rogan wanted one really bad. I would listen to his podcast all the time, and he rented one. And he's like, that thing is not what they say it is. Like, he's like, I drove
I'm sure
from
it's
here to
overrated.
here to here, and it was like 3/4 of the charge. It like doesn't go as far, and that just seems like a pain in the ass to me. You know what I mean? It's just having to always worry about charging it if you don't in the right
What's the
spot.
difference between that and gas? Except that gas
Because
is
there's
more
gas
accessible.
everywhere. Yeah, But yeah, I think that I just like the muscle.
Aston Martin would be sweet. Pretty much anything Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Especially if you're cruising like a coast or like Europe or something. Also depends what you want to do with it, I guess, as well.
Yeah. There's something to be said about having an old 60s Cadillac cruising, the ocean front on, down California, down the highway. But I think that, I don't know. I love tech in cars too, and just making like ridiculous horsepower out of not much. Because when I went to high school, like a Trans Am or a Camaro had like 190 horsepower,
And that was
in
a
like
lot.
in the best ones, like that could smoke the tires. And that's a V8 and everything else. Now we got a Skyline GTR, like a Nissan that has a 2.8 liter 6-cylinder that has like a 800 and some horsepower in it. It's just insane.
Now we're a car show. Welcome to Car Talk.
Yeah, I mean, even just an Accord, it has like 300 horsepower in the
yeah,
V6.
right.
Like,
Dude.
Jesus,
This BMW i8 looks sick.
it is, but it's electric. Just remember that.
It's electric.
But it's sick looking.
357 horsepower plug-in hybrid drivetrain.
Yep. The cool thing about the electric cars is the torque is at 0 RPM or like at 1 RPM.
Yeah.
It's immediate. That's cool as hell. And that thing looks ridiculous. Do you remember in Dark Knight or Batman, the one where he's driving his Lamborghini around, he saves that guy from getting hit? That's an Aventador. That's
Oh,
probably
yeah,
the
yeah.
sickest Lamborghini that I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
that
It
would
looks like a
probably be up
stealth
there,
fighter.
too.
That thing is,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it looks like something made by the government.
yeah.
It's badass.
So Daryl likes a Vespa. You would get a Lambo. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, my dream car, I know, is a DeLorean.
Okay. I'll give
You
you a
ever
chance.
sat in one?
Yeah.
Oh, they're uncomfortable.
See, yeah, well, he could fit in it. You guys can fit in that. I could never fit in that.
Oh,
car.
have I sat in one?
Yeah.
No.
Would you want it just stock, or would you make it look like the Back to the Future car?
Both. I'd own more than one.
Oh. Those are pricey for what you get.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be terrible. I expect to win the lottery and just spend exuberant amounts of money on DeLoreans. I'm going to build a hyper...
Can't be that many more out there.
I'm going to build
They're
a
getting
hyper
old.
DeLorean.
A hyper DeLorean.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the print from the actual old school DeLorean and then rebuild it. We're gonna call West Coast Customs.
And have them built from the ground up.
Yeah.
But like better.
Yeah,
That would actually be the shit.
That's pretty cool. I've never seen like a retro mod DeLorean. Like somebody that's taken the old DeLorean and upgraded the engine drivetrain. You know, I don't
I
think
feel
I've
like
ever
it'd be
seen that.
expensive just because they're so like unique. I mean, are they?
Well, they're rare. I
Yeah,
mean, you don't want to really.
you don't-
So yeah, ground up would be better than ruining an original car. So
They
yeah.
aren't really like
Yeah, that's true.
universal.
Yeah.
You can't really like use parts well with them. I mean, are they all?
no, you build your own custom everything.
You weld that shit together.
Just basically like it was an assembly line, but for one car. You know, like, so that'd be the world's most expensive DeLorean ever. Well, I'm full. Are you full? I got football to watch.
Yes.
I'm pretty full.
Yes.
Thank you guys for sticking around with us. What? What?
You're
What?
just like,
I was thinking.
okay, good.
Gosh. Thank you guys for sticking around with us. Like, subscribe, do all that. Happy horse. And email us at cyberlunch1@outlook.com if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns,
Suggestions.
We love suggestions.
Eric's had his turn. You need to wait a while.
Yeah, we need a new listener.
You
It's
know,
okay that we don't like Eric because he really knows his stuff and he likes talking about it. So it's all right.
Maybe
This
he'll
is
be
kind
our
of like
first
a
guest.
secret bonus episode, so we'll have to see. Anyways, I'm Daryl.
I'm Justin,
I'm Jake.
Thanks for sticking around. We're
Cyber
Cyber
Lunch.
Lunch.
and we are out.
Out.
Peace.
Out.
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 I love Dragon Ball Fighter Z. It is my